Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one was sent in by Flying Taco, and he is playing as the Lizardmen, with some new toys, of course. So here you can see there are red-crested skinks on the outside. In the middle he's got a couple of Saurus warriors to anchor that front line, and he's also got the Star Chamber Guardians. So he's against High Elves, by the way, so, you know, really nice to have that anti-large. The armor piercing on the edges can be pretty handy. I do wonder how well they'll trade against things like White Lions, I do. But, you know, that poison's really handy on the outskirts for any cavalry, and he's got some extra skinks to throw in there as well. He's got the Croxigors to deal with any of the big scary things, you know, such as Phoenix Guard or, I mean, yeah, sure, Phoenix Guard have anti-large, but this anti-infantry is great. You throw them in there with some Saurus Warriors or something, they can do a hell of a lot of damage. Swordmaster Hoeth, I mean, good luck. Don't know how often people are going to bring Swordmasters against this army, though. I mean, Lizardmen tend to rely on their big stompy things a lot of the time, so, but I guess there are more infantry you can bring now, you know, things like red-crested skinks. It might actually be worth having some anti-infantry nowadays, because, yeah, like I said, White Lions might not trade very cost-effectively against these guys. So, yeah, your sort of anti-armor options aren't really as great anymore. So we'll have to see about that. Also, Lord KROAK. Great to see Lord KROAK, and of course he does have the Deliverance of Itza spells down here. So, you know, the more money you put into it, I say money, the more magic you put into it, the more powerful it's going to be, and they are absolutely devastating. They will do damage to the enemy, a lot of it, but none to your own army, which is really cool. Also, the Supreme Shield of the old ones, that 44% damage resistance, is gigantic. So, absolutely love KROAK here. And also, Red-Crested Skink Chief on an Ancient Stegodon. Interesting to see the Red-Crested Skink Chief. Very cheap lord, usually. But, of course, the mount is super expensive, but really sturdy. I mean, he's got some great abilities here. The Warrior's Crest, huge attack buffs for both of his attack stats. Well, attack and defense, very, very nice. And the Ancient Salamander that is getting shot at a little bit. Yeah, not ideal. Is going to get outranged by all the archers here, so very scary indeed. So he's going to move away, but he does so much damage, so it's going to be really interesting to see what he can pull off. So, his opponent, frontline, Spearman, pretty typical. Some Loathen Sea Guard in the back, and he also has some Sisters of Avalon. The Sisters of Avalon, obviously great armor-piercing units. They're really, really nice to see. And, I mean, things like the Salamanders, they don't have fire resistance, despite being flamethrowers. So Sisters of Avalon will be able to get maximum damage there, which is really cool. So here, Deliverance of Itza right in the middle, straight away. Very cool to see. Pure Main Company are going to be able to give... wait, is it It's Guardian, isn't it? It is Guardian, right? Yes, Guardian. So very nice there. That's going to be very useful to keep Alariel nice and safe. So Alariel, huge healing from her. Really nice to be able to heal up your units a ton because, well, Lizardmen don't have as much access to healing. You know, not sort of cheap ones. They can't just bring Law of Life and heal everything up. So it is nice to be able to out-heal there. Also, the Fireborn. Now, the Fireborn do have huge fire resistance. So the Salamander isn't going to be able to do as much damage to them. So, interesting. Interesting. So, things are starting to move up. So, Red-Crested Skink Chief taking a bit of a beating from the Sisters of Avalon there. Definitely want to deal with them. And the Salamander is just bobbing and weaving, getting the odd hit in, but my god, it can do some damage, can't it? Very, very nice. And it kills models as well when it hits them, because it hits so hard. So it isn't just it doesn't just do damage to a unit, it will kill models in a unit, and that is way more beneficial than just doing damage against the High Elves that can just keep healing, you know? You want to get rid of that martial prowess by killing models off, so they can't get it back. So over here, Deliverance of Itza, and Supreme Shield of the old one, so huge damage resistance for everything in the front line, and it looks like the Deliverance of Itza is going to do a pretty good amount of damage to the Pure Main Company. I don't think that was one of the higher tier ones, but still pretty great. Red-Crested Skink Chief still just being bullied here, very, very hard, and the Fireborn did get a charge in. Deliverance of Itza being used again, and does some damage, but they managed to avoid most of it by the looks of it. But, I mean, that's significant. And Skinks now charging into the back, trying to get onto the archers, so the Fireborn are reacting. Very wise move there. So, the Sisters of Avalon very injured right now, which is nice to see. And the Ancient Salamander is still firing into these units of Loathen Sea Guard. Huge chunks of damage there from that. Very, very nice. So, Star of Avalon being used to try and keep the Spearmen in the fight and heal up these Fireborn. But Fireborn aren't all in here yet. They're not actually... Now they are. Nope, now they're not. Now they are. Okay, so they're getting some healing out of this, but it's a bit hit and miss. And you can see they are struggling now. You know, the Frenzy with the Red-Crested Skinks, you know, the armor piercing. These guys are going to be pretty cost effective here, you know, bogging these guys down. Another Deliverance of Itza. It's enough to force the High Elves to move, which means they're not shooting, and that is enough Now the Kroxgors are charging in. There are some nice debuffs from Lord KROAK, so he will be lowering melee attack of nearby units, which is really nice. And, yeah, here Fireborn are terrified. They are not immune to psychology. The Noble here trying to chase down... Yeah, he's on foot. He's on foot, which is definitely risky. But he's trying to chase down that Salamander that could, of course, just run off. So Fireborn still going, and the Fireborn could actually take out this Ancient Salamander very, very quickly. But the Kroxgors are in the back line now, and that's going to be a problem. Those Sisters of Avalon are not going to be able to hold up against that. And the Sisters of Avalon are the guys that are going to be able to really kill it if they can get some distance. But I doubt Flying Taco is going to let them get too much distance. So, another Deliverance of Itza about to be used here, trying to take out these Phoenix Guard that are a real nuisance. But they rely on physical resist, so magic is a great way to deal with them. And you see they did take quite a bit of damage there. So, front line, Alariel is still in here, but a lot of the infantry is starting to suffer a lot now. And on the edges, there's a ton of spearmen just bogged down by one unit of skinks. And the spearmen aren't very good at killing, they're very good at holding. But that kind of goes both ways. I mean, you can throw whatever you like at the spearmen to hold them in place. So, right now, one skink at 300 is holding back 1,000 funds worth of units pretty happily. Saurus Warriors are pushing in now, though. Saurus Warriors will kill spearmen very quickly. They have very good weapon strength. It will help a lot. So, more Supreme Shield of the old ones, keeping the Star Chamber Guardians nice and healthy, making sure they're not going to take too much damage. And, yeah, looks like KROAK is under attack now, but with all of these skinks, the Star Chamber Guardians, it's just the perfect bodyguard. You see, things are looking very bad for this noble on foot. You know, not getting the benefit of the anti-large, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't have a, you know, he's got, what, 80 armor? Yeah, 80 armor. So KROAK, he's able to get him with the odd decent hit, but those Star Chamber Guardians are just going to keep wailing on him. It's going to be very tough. Phoenix Guard still going, though. And, yeah, Red Crested Skink Chief is still alive. Way over here, Red Crested Skink Chiefs chasing off, sorry, not Chiefs, just Red Crested Skinks. They're chasing things away, which is really nice. And, it looks like there's a bit of a surround going on. There's a few powerful units in here, but the Kroxgors can just keep moving around and tracing off the units. This should be a very nice hit. So, huge blob of spearmen, and right in the middle, a giant blast from the Ancient Salamander. Absolutely fantastic. That was beautiful. So they just got absolutely wrecked. Here, Star of Avalon trying to keep these guys healed up. Hopefully it'll keep the Noble in the fight. And here you can see it will be healing the Phoenix Guard. But with all of them just sat in one place, looks like another Deliverance of Itza is going to rip through these guys. So they're trying to run? Nope, they're hanging in there. They're hanging in there. Yep, big chunk of damage. Phoenix Guard definitely starting to struggle. And, yeah, the Red Crested Skink Chief, sure, he's armoured and large, which is exactly what the Phoenix Guard want to fight, but he could easily just run in there and smash them to pieces. He's got, you know, huge armour-piercing and anti-infantry himself, so he could run in if he wants. And, yeah, looks like it's just down to Alariel and the Noble now. And, yep, Sisters of Avalon have shattered, thanks to the Salamander. Salamander doing just a huge amount of work, 137 kills. I think we're going to see the Ancient Salamander against High Elves a lot. I think we're going to see that a lot, and I think the Fireborn are going to be a must for that fire resistance. But, gotta keep those Fireborn safe from anything else that might be trying to threaten them, because they're going to need to get on top of those Ancient Salamanders and take them out. I think we're going to see a lot of these guys. So, things being chased off, and the Star Chamber Guardians. They're just going to sit here and keep fighting these guys. I mean, they're very survivable. They're going to sit here for a long time, and that damage is going to add up. Everything else is being chased away, terrified away, shattering. Balance of power, really in favour of the Lizardmen. And, yeah, those Phoenix Guard are never going to come back, are they? Some more skinks coming back, but the Salamander is happy just to run through these guys. It's pretty great. He does cause terror himself, so he'll be able to terrify units away pretty quickly, like that. So, very, very nice for sort of clean-up duty now that he's low on ammunition. He does a good armour-piercing, but he's not a great duelist. He will take damage very quickly from armour-piercing units. Though, yeah, yeah, the Noble, maybe don't fight him, but Alariel he could probably go toe-to-toe with. But yeah, that'll be army losses. And there we go. And that is a Pyrrhic victory. So yeah, great fight. Yeah, really showing off some of the new units, but my god, just Ancient Salamanders. They perform great here. They really do. And Red Crested Skink, I keep wanting to say Chief at the end of that. The Red Crested Skinks actually perform pretty well here. I think it's Frenzy, just giving them enough melee attack to be able to hit things like Spearmen a little more successfully, which is very good. Because that's the thing, martial prowess just makes Spearmen so hard to hurt by sort of weaker units. They'll hold things at bay for ages. But it looks like the Red Crested Skinks can put a lot of work in. I mean, 90 kills against Elves. I mean, Elves, they don't tend to have huge armies. Amazingly here, though, they did outnumber the Lizardmen, but still, 800, and you got just a Red Crested Skink. getting 90 kills is pretty huge. 150 for the Ancient Salamander is gigantic. You know, that is very, very scary indeed. So this looks like a very robust army, actually. I really like the look of this. There's enough large targets that you can't necessarily prioritize what you shoot at with things like Sisters of Avalon, and with them being so expensive. Sneezing fit. Anyway, with them being so expensive, you can't bring a ton of them, so it's pretty tough. It can be pretty tough. High Elves do tend to struggle having enough anti-large to go around. I think the Double Noble is a bit of a classic, and, well, Double Noble and Techless you often see. So you can sort of net things down, which helps protect any expensive archers you may have, and, you know, also lets you catch out any units you want to. So that net can be very handy. And a regrowth as well on Techless can get in a lot of healing as well, even, you know, if you're not bringing a Lariel, who obviously has just ludicrous amounts of healing. So Techless and a couple of Nobles tends to be what you see most of the time in this matchup. But, yeah, I think that's going to be even more vital now, because you're going to need so much stuff to pin down. You're going to need your Nobles to be able to jump on top of an Ancient Salamander. Got to have them mounted, though. They need that maneuverability so they can chase these kinds of units down, because Ancient Salamanders just do too much damage to sort of these very uniform, tight formations that the Elves use. So, yeah, makes it tough. Makes it tough for sure. I think this matchup is going to favour the Lizardmen more again. That was always the case. It used to favour Lizardmen just straight away. You just bring all the big armoured stuff, and High Elves really struggled against armour. It was sort of the introduction of Sisters of Avalon that really helped that. It gave them some tools that could do damage quickly, but now there are just so many new tools for Lizardmen. I'm not sure how this is going to go anymore. I think it might favour the Lizardmen a lot more again, which is definitely scary for any High Elf players out there. So I'm sure someone will come up with some decent builds to counter it. It's only a matter of time, isn't it? So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.